Okay, I'm going to start with playing this few minutes of this clip of what happened in Texas.
Only getting worse in that entire region.
In the last 5 hours, 18 more deaths have been confirmed, bringing the death toll at least to 50 at this hour, including 15 children.
Southeast of Kirk County, there's also chaos in Comal County. Heavy rains causing major flooding along River Road tonight.
The good news for Kerrville, the heaviest of that rain has pushed east, but we still have a big risk for flooding from Austin to San Antonio up to Fredericksburg.
Every time I turn on any local channel, I see and hear stories that immediately remind me of what we saw last year in towns like Asheville. There are videos of entire houses.
Didn't she
Every
say,
time I turn on any local...
Didn't she say 2 to 4 additional rainfall? Okay.
Rain has pushed east, but we still have a big risk for flooding from Austin to San Antonio up to Fredericksburg.
Every time I turn on any local channel, I see and hear stories that immediately remind me of what we saw last year in towns like Asheville. There are videos of entire houses getting swept away by the water with people stuck inside them.
There's people in it. Oh my God, there's so many people in it. Please tell me, can you get some video? Yeah, it's over.
My brother called at 4:30. He said at HTX campground here in Kerrville. Said the RV was flooding and it was being swept away. He was able to get out, but his RV and his truck was swept downriver. My parents were staying at HTX campground in one of the small tiny homes. By the time he got up to them, all the tiny homes are gone, including my parents. We're still looking for him. Their name is Robert Brake Sr. and Johnny Bracken.
And this was a reality for a lot of people in these small towns because many of them couldn't leave even if they tried to.
Okay, my house is flooding. Anybody out there? I have my dad on hospice and I need to get him out of here. He's bedridden, he can't walk, he can hardly move, and look where the water is. So somebody please, we've called 911. It's bad over here.
And that's just wrong.
In front of the house, it's like a river. I mean, it's like a lake.
Look at that.
They can't come look. We've
Look
lost
at that.
our cars, everything. We've lived here for 30 years, and this has never happened.
30 years, and that's never happened.
Hey, so anybody, please, if you have a boat or something, I need help. I need to get my dad out of here. It's starting to smell like sewer in here.
Just imagine yourself in her position and you'll realize that someone has screwed up here big time. Why was there no warning? Of course, the officials are busy blaming each other.
But listen, everybody got the forecast from the National Weather Service, right? You all got it.
Okay, listen to this. Pay attention to this.
If you're all in media, you got that forecast. It did not predict the amount of rain that we saw. So using the National Weather Service data, which we were all looking at, they were warning 3 to 6 inches of rain.
Once again, I understand that
3 to 6 inches of rain they warned of.
Flooding is always unpredictable, but how the hell could they not see the kind of devastation that was coming down those rivers? I mean, we're now finding out that the Guadalupe River rose 42 feet in just 3 hours. And
42 feet in 3 hours.
The videos coming from other rivers show similar changes in water levels.
Oh yeah, look at this. 6:13 p.m. Look at that.
We are apparently world leaders when it comes to weapons technology, and yet we can't predict if kids camping near a river are going to be safe or not. How does that make sense?
I'll tell you how. I'll tell you how. Here's a video I did, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing here. Okay. Or I did Hurricane Helene, New Mexico, or intentional flooding. I'm gonna play.
Let's
Alright.
take a look at what
These
happens when our body can't
commercials.
control leaking. Urine is stored in the
1, 2,
bladder.
okay. This is about Asheville flooding. If you Same thing. If you Same thing as Texas, though. I'm saying. They call that from a hurricane. Or yeah. No way. No way is a few days of rain, even a week of rain, gonna cause that kind of. I guess in Texas it was just one night. Flooding and damage. And besides, I'm in Georgia, North Georgia. And yeah, it might have rained, kind of not even a steady hard rain. It just kind of rained 2 days. I mean, big deal. There's just no way that much rain caused that kind of, especially when people describe walls of water. What I think is here's what I think. Somebody on purpose, deliberately, released water from a dam and blamed it on the rain. Okay, did it in North Carolina. Why not do it again in Texas? Must be some minerals Rump wants to mine down there. I don't know. In that area, and blamed it on the hurricane. Which was, I think, I was in South Georgia right after. Of course, there are things labeled cloud seeding. Yes, and cloud seeding. Because they got to have it rain so they can blame something for the flooding. But it ain't caused that much rain. The hurricane. And while I did see some trees down on the side of the road, what I'm saying is, that tropical storm, it wasn't even a hurricane, it was a tropical storm, would just not have, when people describe walls of water, houses do not fall off their foundation and float away from a little flooding. It would cause a lot of pressure, water pressure, like as if you really water from a dam. Yeah, you saw that video in Texas, that house floating down the river. Now here's a video that I just saw today. I was already going to make this video and I just happened to see this girl. And they're basically saying the dams failed. And what I'm saying is, the dams didn't fail. I think somebody just released some water. And in Texas, they're just blaming the rain. Now let's go, and I want to play. Now watch this. Now during that whole episode of North Carolina, I only saw one video of somebody that had the same theory that I did. And I'm going to play hers. She's at 828. Here we go.
And there's this. This woman from Kentucky had a warning for the people of Western North Carolina. I'm from Cadiz, Kentucky, and they're on the tip where the water is, and this hurricane situation going on just brings the memories of the stories my grandparents told me about Golden Pond, Kentucky. My family lived there. They were pushed out of there. JFK signed a bill and land grabbed Golden Pond. My grandparents told me when the water had went down a little bit, it was just like Helene. The water come at such a force, it split the land. They were pulling the bodies from the roofs because people had nowhere to go and they had to get up on that roof to save themselves, and they starved to death. I'm going to go off what my grandparents told me happened before I go off what the damn internet tells me. My mama still got the book. They made a book, A History of Golden Pond. And my mama still got it. She takes real good care of it. She treats that thing almost like the Bible. I was raised on top of Siloam Hill my whole life. My family still owns it. I never thought there could be somewhere.
There was a movie with Jane Fonda, Golden Pond. Probably not the same. I don't know. Oh, there again. They released dam water. And yeah. Now you got. So apparently they did that in, I guess, I'm assuming that was the 60s. What is this now? Saying that Roswell, New Mexico. Oh, that's just a... So we go back over here. Okay. And the point is... This is just the point is... you saw that footage. That's not... And look, another thing I meant to say. Let's go back here to this guy. These officials right here. These are officials that are going by weather forecast that were calling for what, 3 to 6 inches? The weathermen know. They know how to predict. They're usually right on spot. Okay, that wasn't a mistake. What they didn't account for was somebody creeping up there, probably some, it'd have to be some CIA group, somebody that's, able to sneak in. Here's what I think. They snuck in. They had this pre-planned. Probably got paid quite a bit of money to do it. Open the dam. And then, to cover their trail, they shut it back. Now, these people aren't looking there. I don't know. And what I'm saying is, states... You better start guarding your dams, because you got some criminals roaming around thinking that they can just, if they're not flying planes in to do weird stuff, they think they can just release dam water and take over people's houses and land, because they don't care. This country's going to the dogs, to the Nazis. Here, right here.
Which we were all looking at, they were warning 3 to 6 inches of rain.
Once again,
3 to 6 inches of rain. And how much did they say fell? I've got it written down here. It was at 20. It rose. This river rose 26 feet in 45 minutes. No way. No way. I ain't buying it.
I understand that flat.
Yeah, and we're covered up in snow and ice, and it.
Back then it was only, I think it was going to be between 1,000 to 1,200 for the year.
Yes, sir.
And now it's looking like maybe 2,200.
Stop using tea tree oil and big vapor rub for your foot fungus. Do this instead.
So
I almost killed my grandma.
Say, this is a particular area of the state where we've seen a lot of losses, so we're not going to grow as fast.
Now, to their credit, the Texas state government has tried to lower these insurance rates. They are even thinking about giving people money to cover the rise in their insurance premiums. They are also trying to stop these greedy insurers from raising the rates by over 10%, but of course, the companies are fighting this. As far as I can see, a lot of these survivors are going to be on their own when it comes to rebuilding their lives. However, the similarities to the North Carolina disaster don't just end here. I'm sure you remember how a lot of companies were fighting to build their lithium storage facilities in that area.
Happening now at 6, Gaston County homeowners are voicing their opinions to state regulators about a proposed lithium mine.
Businesses and farms are being destroyed by this mine's proposal. That our way of life is being destroyed. Everything we've worked for is being destroyed.
Well, it turns out Kerr County had also been opposing the construction of a battery storage facility in the area, and they were asking some fair questions. Since the battery plant can only provide power for a couple of hours, it won't protect the county from blackouts. It also raises the risk of a lithium fire, which is damn near impossible to put out.
Not to mention terrible to breathe. Yeah, I'm sick of all this battery stuff.
So why are they so eager to build it? But instead of addressing these concerns, the power companies were thinking about starting the construction. Of course, their work will be easier now because a lot of people might just move away from the area. As per usual, I dug a little deeper and noticed something very interesting. So I made a post about it. They want the land, so now Kerrville's underwater. Kerrville approves a $175 million gas power plant. Months later, Biblo biblical floods swallow the town. This isn't weather. It's war by water. Greenlight the project. Drown the locals. Build over the wreckage. Same playbook as Maui. Same playbook as Asheville.
Yep.
Now it's Texas. They don't need to buy you out. They wash you out, then break ground. Now, yesterday I raised the issue of cloud seeding because I know that issue is on the minds of a lot of people. Well, yesterday, Marjorie Taylor Greene announced that she's introducing
Good for her.
a bill in Congress that will stop anyone from putting any kind of material into our skies. In fact, it will be a felony. This bill is identical to what was passed in Florida a few months ago.
So this was done by Senator Ileana Garcia, and it protects Floridians from geoengineering and weather modification activities. Now,
which, by the way, you go to geoengineering.com. They've actually tested this crap going out of these airplanes. It contains, aluminum in the form of oxides, aluminum, barium, strontium, sulfur dioxide, nanoparticles, on and on. Horrible for the health and the plants, the bees. The bees are being messed up by microwaves, 5G.
people have been coming up to me. We don't do that in any of our state agencies. There's never been any permit issued from the entire modern history of Florida. We're not engaged in any of that. But people have concerns about, because you have all these people that are saying, well, the way to fight climate change is to inject this stuff and block the sun and do all that. And I'm just like,
there's no such thing as global warming. That's a sham.
No, okay? No.
I did a video on that. Death rate of Bill Gates' global warming fairy tale.
Oh, we're not doing that in Florida. We're the Sunshine State.
Of course, it's better late than never, but I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get it passed, since a lot of politicians get money from these cloud seeding companies. However, what's interesting here is that one of the companies that recently received a contract for cloud seeding in Texas happens to be Rainmaker. Now, the regular viewers of this channel will probably remember the CEO of Rainmaker, because I covered the speech he gave in Florida to stop that legislation.
And so Senator Garcia did bring this up briefly. Solar radiation management is a very new technology. It's not something that's been tested at length. NOAA has done some very initial experiments on its efficacy. It is attempting to reduce the amount of solar radiation that makes it down to the planet by injecting reflective aerosols into the upper atmosphere. Once you inject these aerosols, they stay in the stratosphere for years. They have effects on the entire climate. It is altogether different. The only similarity is that it has to do with the atmosphere. It has to do with the low atmosphere. It's a mechanism...
Doesn't belong in the atmosphere. Yeah.
It's a tool that either freezes the water in existing clouds or condenses the droplets in existing clouds into bigger snowflakes or bigger droplets such that they fall onto your target watershed or farm. No ifs, ands, or buts. Mar-a-Lago exists here. Florida is a very consequential state within the United States. And if weather modification is banned here, that sets a precedent to deprive farmers in even more arid regions of the country.
I'm sure everyone agrees that people
We've
should
been
have
farming
the right
for
to
years without your stupid help.
choose if they want any chemicals in their skies or not, and that's why I will always...
It's killing the very plants that you claim you want to water, you idiots.
Please keep raising issues like this one. Now, before I talk about our next topic, let me remind you that these people living in Texas are going to need our help to get back on their feet. If you're in a position to do so, you can help by giving money to lining up to donate plasma.
Yeah.
Did not donors.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think somebody is releasing dam water. You mark my words. Okay, that's it. Over and out.